parents. Another video here to sum up the week. Like we always start, we'll start with our books. This week our books were all about Thanksgiving with the holiday coming up. We read this book called The Thanksgiving Escape. It was a cute, fun book for the kids about the child's perspective of a Thanksgiving dinner and their feelings of wanting to escape the room with all the babies and go outside and explore. So it was a fun one. We had pattern fish for our numeracy. This week we introduced to the students patterning, and we looked at patterning through sound, patterning through colors, patterning through shape. So this book was a great one that did it through sound and shape and color, actually. It's a great one to have at home. We read Thanks is for Thanksgiving as we continue to talk about being thankful and all the things that we're lucky to have in our life. From our parents to our families, from our family and parents to our teachers, to the weather, to our cats, to reading. We read this one today called I Know an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Pie. And it's it's a book that has rhymes in it, and then it's also a pattern book. So as the pages go on, the pattern continues and the kids get to join along, so they enjoy reading a book like this. It mimics that one book called I Know an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly. We had our focus bins this week. We introduced to the students for the first time what we call words around the room. So what we do is we post pictures around the room that match the photos that you see on this sheet. And I'll actually grab them. Now the reason that we love this activity for kindergarten is, one, the kids get clipboards and they get to go around the room and find the words that are hidden. And two, it continues working on letters that are tall, letters that are small, and letters that fall. So we've been spending a lot of time explaining to the kids that when we look at our lowercase letters specifically, we have letters that are tall, letters that are small, and letters that fall. And we use visuals. For a letter that's tall, it'll be a giraffe. A letter that falls, we use like a monkey's tail. And for small letters, we use turtles. And the reasoning for it is it helps with their letter formation. For example, if we look at the word hay, H is a tall letter. So the kids understand that the stick part of the H has to be tall. It has to come up high. We know that an A is a small letter, so it stays in the box like that. And we know that a Y falls. So these visuals just kind of help the students form their letters. And as they continue to do this throughout the year, you'll see great improvement in their writing. We looked at counting numbers 1 to 10, and then for some students, numbers 1 to 12. So what the children had to do here was, just pull out one of these numbers. They had to look at their turkeys, and they had to count the number of feathers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then they had to use a clothespin to clip the number 8. So it's number recognition, counting, and fine motor because they're having to press the clothespin. Then we had roll and cover tree. Now for lots of kids know their alphabet, which is wonderful, and lots don't, which is also fine as well. But when you introduce to children every letter at once, it becomes very overwhelming because there's a lot of letters in the alphabet. So this week we dialed back a little bit and we looked at 6 letters for this activity, that is. A, B, C, D, E, and F. And what the kids had to do is they had to roll their alphabet dice, and whatever letter it landed on, so in E, they'd have to tell us the letter, and then they'd have to cover it with a bingo chip. So it really focused on repetition and for those 6 letters. And then when they were finished this, they did a worksheet kind of with a worksheet for letters A to E, and they practiced it over and over and over. And they did a wonderful job. Lots of persistence there. And then with myself, the kids worked on thankful writing. And what I did is I pulled aside each student before they did their writing because I wanted it to be individualized. And oftentimes when you talk to kids in a group, if one says something, they all copy that same idea, which is normal. So I pulled them aside and I asked each student, what are you especially thankful for this Thanksgiving? And then when they told me their answer, they had to go back to their table and they had to draw their picture. And So these were some of the examples. So they would write, I'm thankful for, and this one happened to write, I'm thankful for my teacher. I swear it was on top, I didn't pick it. And then they'd have to give me the reasoning, and whatever reasoning they chose, I would put in quotes and write for them. Some children were able to write, I am thankful for. Others, I did it for them, and they just wrote the sample of what they were or the word of what they were thankful for. It just kind of depended where they were at. But it was amazing to see, honestly, in kindergarten, that they were able to draw these pictures and do writing and do coloring all in one go. I was really proud of the kids, and it was just amazing to see. So I'll get these up on the wall outside our classroom, and you could just tell that there's lots of different levels that the students are at, but everyone did their best work. So I was really, really proud of the kids for it. And parents, it's amazing how much the kids talked about how thankful they were for you guys and their families and all the wonderful things you did that you do with them at home and do for them. So they were very thankful. We also looked, like I said, at AB patterns and specifically AB patterns. Some kids already know patterning, so they went on to do AABB patterns or ABC if they already knew it. But this week we're just starting with AB patterns. So they had to color in their caterpillars using a pattern and then explain their pattern rule. Right now we're teaching our kids that a pattern must happen 3 times for it to be considered a pattern. And then we're looking specifically at what we call the core. So if you use that language with your kids at home, the core is what specifically repeats. So the core in this pattern here would be yellow, yellow, red, red. And the core in this pattern would be orange, blue. So using that language, like what's your core and what's your pattern rule, will be really helpful if you want to work on something with your kids. They did a great job. They're getting very good at their practice books. We, again, did letter D because it was the letter of the week. And looking at letter D, properly forming it, we talk about, again, going down the slide. And then this one's a big curve from the top to bottom. For lowercase d, some kids form it, there's 2 different ways I'm okay with them forming it. Some will go down the slide first and then add a curve from middle to bottom. Some use the magic C and then add a stick or a line. So either way I'm okay with, but the kids did a really great job in their writing books on D. And then of course we talked about the sound that letter D makes, which is duh. We also did, my afternoon kids, unfortunately, because they're only here 4 days a week, didn't get the opportunity to do this. If I have time next week, we'll absolutely include it in. But they did a guided drawing of a turkey. Now, parents, the reasoning for a guided drawing, there's lots, but a couple of them are, 1, we look at shapes. So a guided drawing is when I do a step-by-step on the board. So I'll do one step, then the kids do it. Then I do another one, then the kids do it. And so they're following along with me. So 1, it's working on instruction and following directions. 2, it works on patience because we have to wait till everyone's generally done that step. And then it looks at shapes, talking about different types of shapes depending on the guided drawing that we're doing. Then the kids they color their guided drawings often. And then another thing that's really important that they do with guided drawing is they trace over top their pencil with Sharpie. And the kids did an amazing job on it. And it takes coordination, it takes patience, it takes a lot of fine motor skills. So I was really proud of them. And the other thing with guided drawings is, what was I gonna say? There's one more thing that's very important about our guided drawings. And now it's escaping my mind. What was I gonna say? Slipping my mind. When it comes back, I'll let you know. So they did a great job with these little turkeys. I was really quite proud of them. And then we also, today was Fun Friday, as you know, because the kids work so hard for me. On Fridays, we like to do fun things, whether it's an experiment, baking of some sort, an art project. So today for Fun Friday, we did 2 things actually. We built turkeys. So the kids got to build them out of Play-Doh. Again, they followed a step-by-step instruction. And then we told them they could take them home this weekend and hopefully have them out on their tables or somewhere for Thanksgiving. So they did a wonderful job with these. And then we also just finished the day by making a turkey hand. So we put Skittles in the bottom and put popcorn in the palm part, and they got to take it home and eat it. So, you know, parents, they didn't have the Skittles in class. I let each kid have 1 Skittle. But I I don't know what your guys' general rules are on candy, so I just said take it home, and if mommy and daddy allow you to, you guys can eat them. But they did have some popcorn in class with me to celebrate a great week and as just a fun way to enter into Thanksgiving and a great holiday. So parents, thank you so much. Oh, I remembered. I remembered finally. Okay. The thing with guided drawings is it works on looking what we call as horizontal translation. So being able to sit at a desk, but look up at a board and then keep the picture in your head long enough to look back down and write it. Now this skill is very important because as you know, as the kids get older, they're doing a lot more looking at the board and writing, whether it's copying notes, writing agenda messages. So it's a great skill for the kids to start to learn and develop. And you know what? For some kids, it's very difficult to look up and then be able to do that, create what they see on their paper. So one strategy to help your child if they struggle with it would to be use like a slant board. So it's kind of just a board that sits up so the picture sits higher for them. But again, we had a great week. Next week is a short week, no school on Monday. We'll be going into letter E. So practice that at home with your kids and continue playing those sound games, but I'm proud of them. We had a great week. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. I'll see you next week.